Hey, I'm KASIA, and welcome to this week's ritual, and happy new moon eclipse, which is happening on September 21st. And we also have the equinox happening a day later. So together, these two events create a super powerful window for reset, recalibration, and truth-telling. Normally in my new moon sessions, we focus on setting intentions, but eclipses are different. The energetic field itself feels really unstable, and this is definitely not the time to be pushing out new intentions into the world. Instead, eclipses invite us to pause, release, and just simply observe. They act like, clearing the slate for us. They reset the system. They allow what's hidden to rise so that when the shadow passes, the ground is clear for what truly belongs. So we just want to provide a space to allow that to happen. We can see old patterns or scattered energy or attachments that have been draining us. Just letting all of that go, being aware of it, and then letting it go. It's a course correction moment, you could say, like a pause in the sky that mirrors a pause inside of us too. So tonight we're going to be focusing on calling our energy back, clearing space, and trusting that once the eclipse is passed, the intentions that we hold have just a clear ground to root into. This is the work of alignment. Not doing more, but coming back to our center so that we're ready for what's next. And this new moon eclipse is really important because this is the second new moon in Virgo this year. So the first arrived at 0 degrees, the very beginning of the sign. Now we go into the new moon at 29 degrees, which is the very end. So we see the beginning and the completion. The first called our attention to what wasn't aligned, and this one really asked us to close the loop and refine what we must change. So when we look through the Virgo lens, Virgo rules health and systems and routines and discernment and honest service to our body. You can start asking yourself things like, is this healthy? Is this sufficient? Does this bring me joy? And if the answer is no, maybe it's time to release it. A lot of people have been feeling like they're in a purge state, waves of emotion or fatigue just kind of rushing through them. Or I've seen spikes in uncertainty. The mind is reaching for control and old coping loops, clarity in flashes, sudden bouts of awareness, or just realizing that there's a cleaner, clearer way of doing things. I've had people express feelings of irritation or, just saying that how much they've been overreacting lately. And this is just kind of a sign that maybe the story that you're telling needs to be rewritten. But overall, just knowing that you're not alone in this and that your feelings of worthiness and steadiness are going to return to you in your life the more that you simplify. Okay, so the intensity of the eclipse will be most felt strongly in the 2 weeks surrounding September 21st. And that's when the energies are going to be at their most sharpest. But know that the energies are not going to stop there. It essentially is initiating a working cycle that unfolds over the next 6 months. So that goes until about March 2026. And then beyond that, it's part of the larger Virgo Pisces Eclipse series that spans until early 2027. But that makes this September 21st eclipse the seed point of a much longer process. So what arises now will potentially set the tone for what's going to run far into the future. It's clearing space and helping seeds grow. So some things that you could think about doing now are closing one loop that drains you. Thinking about the relationships in your life, patterns that you have, habits. What should be closed now? What's draining you? Giving yourself time to call all of your energy back to you. This is something you should be doing every night before you go to bed. I call all of my energy, all of my power back to me now, cleansed and free from attachment. And seeing if you can really start to feel or see your energy returning to you. We should be doing that every day. And then taking special time every day also to anchor your body. taking deep breaths, hydrating, resting, eating like simple foods that haven't been over-processed, controlling what you're consuming, and that goes for social media and to other things, not just what you're eating. And replacing control loops with a stabilizer, count your breaths, do walks, body scans, and taking a moment also to audit your life. Look at your life. Ask what can be reduced in your life that will potentially reduce suffering and increase your agency. And then, as I mentioned before, what not to do right now: do not put out new intentions into the field. Wait until after the eclipse shadow has lifted. Don't try to repatch right now what you know is already broken. Choose structure over scramble. And do not assume that you are the feeling. Notice your feelings, sit with them, but then let them pass, let them move. You are not your feelings. And then after it passes, then choose the next clean course of action. And finally, the eclipse energy is intense and it passes. You do not need to do anything today, tonight, tomorrow. You only need to choose the next honest step. The rest becomes clear as the light returns. So now I want to do a very quick card pull, and let's just take a moment for that. And I hope that some of that resonated with you. Okay. And this is just a collective poll for what to expect going forward this week and for the eclipse. Okay. All right. So first, the Eight of Swords. So beautiful card. So this speaks to the ways that we've been bound by our own thoughts, our own stories. The eclipse may highlight where we've felt stuck, repeating loops of fear or self-doubt. And the key is recognizing that the cage that we might be feeling is mental. It's not permanent. And this is the moment to step beyond it. Okay. The next one is awakening. So right in the center, we have awakening. And this card mirrors the eclipse. It's like breaking open. It's like when something has been hidden, it rises to the surface. Sometimes through intensity, especially right now, but sometimes through clarity. And it's the moment that we start seeing differently, when the tide of energy resets and when we get glimpses of what is truly possible. And then finally, Justice. I've been pulling this card so often lately. So Justice closes the sequence with balance and alignment. And especially coming so close to Equinox, it just reminds us that the truth always restores equilibrium. So the eclipse asks us to release distortions, call our energy back, and choose what is honest. Justice is the return to clarity and to living in integrity with ourselves. So to me, that makes complete sense. All right, so why don't we get into a comfortable position and start with the meditation. And as I mentioned, this is going to be a Theta-Gamma coupling meditation. So just begin to breathe at your own pace, let the sound do the heavy lifting. Your only job is to stay present and to allow the field to reorganize with clarity. So I invite you to get into a comfortable position, finding a quiet place where you can fully settle. And if you have headphones, especially wired headphones, putting them on now. And headphones matter in this type of meditation because we use a specific audio design that works best when the sound is delivered directly to both ears, and wireless can sometimes compress or distort the frequencies. And also with this, we have binaural beats that are going to be sort of weaved underneath the meditation, and it only works when we have two slightly different tones that are delivered separately on each ear. So your brain then compares the two tones and then generates a third tone, which is the binaural, and that helps you sync to that frequency. So it's the difference between the two ears, and your brain will sync to the third, which is an auditory illusion. So, and it gently just nudges your brain into a different brainwave state. So this practice that we're going to be doing now is built on theta-gamma coupling. And in brainwave science, theta waves are slow, intuitive, and dreamlike frequencies that open up the subconscious and deepen relaxation. Gamma waves are the fast, high frequency states that are linked to insight and focus and expanded awareness. So when these two synchronize, or they couple, the mind enters this very rare condition where it's a deep reset, but also heightened clarity are existing at the same time. Okay. So gently closing your eyes, if you haven't done so already. It's getting very comfortable. And I invite you to do a body scan from head to toe. Just taking note of anywhere that you might be holding on to emotional tension or anxiety from the day or the week. And then sending your breath to those places. Softening your brow. Unclenching your jaw. Letting your shoulders drop. Releasing any tension in your back. Letting your calves and your feet just kind of fall to the side. And imagining as if you're relaxing from the inside out. And then picturing as if your entire body is just melting like honey into the ground beneath you. Knowing that you have nowhere else to go. You have nothing else to do. Giving yourself permission to just be here and nowhere else. Just for our time together. Just for now. Noticing any thoughts that you might have running in and out of your mind. But if you ever find that you're being pulled out of the meditation or out of the present moment, just picturing the thought as if it's like a cloud in a clear blue sky and watching the cloud gently flow by. And then gently bringing your attention, bringing your awareness back to your body, back to the present moment. I invite you to take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you do so, imagine as if you're breathing in a bright white cleansing light, holding at the top, and then breathing out through your mouth, and just breathing out anything that feels dark or heavy or stale. And then holding at the bottom, and then breathing back in through your nose, and holding at the top, And then breathing out your mouth and holding at the bottom. And then repeating in a few cycles that feels good for your body. Allowing your breaths to get deeper and deeper. More grounded. And letting everything else around you just melt away. So now I'm going to do a guided meditation using some visualizations, and just know that if you're not a visual person, it's totally okay. However you're experiencing this is exactly how it should be. So start to see or feel a faint smoke starting to slowly rise up around you. It's not heavy or dense. It's more like a slow, silvery, gray mist that starts to lift up from the ground and start to curl all around you, upward. Gently rising in spirals. And with it floats little small noises or static of the day, a thought, a message, warm demand. Just watch the smoke as it slowly starts to rise up in front of you, behind you, your left side, your right side. And watch as it starts to sort of bathe the entire room that you're in. Just blurring everything around you, softening the room. It asks nothing of you. It just continues to spread and thicken around you until your entire world begins to fade into velvety black. And you start to feel comfort in that dark. Not absence, but a blank that holds possibility. So just starting to see or feel everything around you just turning to blackness. So in the center of this space, you start to notice a doorway in front of you that gently swings open. And as it does, you feel a narrow beam of cool, clean, fresh air. I invite you to get up and walk towards this door, gently stepping through. And as you step through this door, you arrive in a beautiful, lush forest. The trees are tall and calming, trunks like old columns, bark marked with subtle silver lines. Moss carpets the ground, soft as you walk on it, springy. Take a moment to look at your feet, to ground you in this space. Looking all around you, seeing light coming through the tree leaves, and quiet rays of light, warm, familiar. You feel really safe here. The air carries the smell of evergreen and a faint lemon-like herb. And this scent steadies you and calms you. And as you walk along the moss, the earth is springy and alive, and it feels really good and grounding to be there. Now continue to walk forward down the clearing. Your footsteps are small, and the forest answers with a hush. You notice or hear a creek somewhere far off, like a small glint of water moving. Bird calls are far off. Nothing urgent, just present. And as you continue to walk, just really noticing the clarity in the space. Nothing presses here. You know, everything that followed you in the city, where your home is, the noise, the hurry, the obligations, they all lie in the dim distance. You're in the forest where everything is softened. You're safe, protected, and you feel at home here. So as you continue to walk down the path, you notice a small cliff ahead of you, and the trees begin to thin. Continue to walk. And you notice that the ground, the moss, becomes a soft sand. The smell of the air shifts to something more salty, a distant deep blue, and you step down and feel the sand on your bare feet, in between your toes, fine, cool, smooth. And then you see the ocean stretch before you, just a wide, just huge sheet of beautiful crystal clear ocean. The waves are moving slowly, softly, with precise rhythm. Take a moment to inhale, feeling the energy of this space, then once again letting out anything that feels dark or heavy. The sound is a low, crystalline chord that invites rest. Just breathing in the pure air, the saltiness, and a taste of memory, wind, openness. Perhaps you can feel the breeze just brushing against your skin with the softness that feels like you're being bathed in a bright white. So as you look up, there's no visible moon tonight. The sky is a velvet that holds both the day's residue and the night's possibility. And you can really feel the pull of both. The earth's steadiness beneath you and the cosmos above, vast and patient. Now I invite you to sit at the water's edge and let your hands rest on your thighs, feeling the ground support you. You are in a place that remembers how to hold you. And now I invite you to imagine and start to really think about, where has your energy gone these last days, months, years? You know, you can think about conversations that have consumed you, the chores that hollowed you, the small pieces of yourself, you know, that you let scattered in other people's pockets. And see those as thin, luminous threads extending from you See if you can get a color, perhaps amber or green or yellow. Maybe some are pale, some are dim. And just see what comes up for you. Where have you extended your energy to over time and space? And just see who they are connected to or what they are connected to. People, places, jobs, old stories. And just knowing that these are not knots, they are not contracts, they are an invitation. So just noticing in your body where you feel those threads and what they are being connected to. And just naming the places silently, not judging, just simply being curious about where they might be attached to. Now to each one of these threads, tracing it back where it was given, one by one, start to call that piece of energy back to your body. Cleansed and free from attachment. Seeing it arrive back at your chest as a clear, clean color. Choosing the color that feels right. And letting that color pool back into you, calling the thread back to you. And as each thread returns, it dissolves any residue that it may have carried, obligations that were not yours, expectations that you adopted. The little debts of attention that you paid in silence. One by one, calling all of these little pieces, all of your energy back to you. And as they do come back, letting any stickiness or residue or anything that would cause any stress to you, just letting that evaporate and just calling one by one all of the cords coming back to you and just dissolving back into you, settling back into you, so that nothing sticky remains. What's coming back to you is your attention, your focus, your calm, and your true fuel. So you're doing this slowly, and you do this with permission, one by one, calling every thread back to you and letting it move in. Just taking a moment to do that now. Noticing where in your body the thread is returning to. Some may come easier than others. Some may need time. But with the power of your intention, it is so. And if the thread carries a memory, just receive it without explanation, knowing that everything returns to you as it should. And just noticing how this is all feeling in your body. You know, you should be feeling charged and more clear, empowered. Noticing, you know, the sand beneath you, feeling cool and calm and grounding. The sound of the ocean steadies your body and your breath as you sink to the frequency. just if you could see yourself there right now, just sitting there by the ocean, and all of these threads of energy are just like a magnet returning to you, inviting all of that to come back to you now. Breathing it in, and then dissolving all heaviness. Now from the horizon, a soft glow begins to rise. It's not blinding or harsh, more like the first hint of dawn. And just noticing as that light begins to gently reach towards you, weaving into your chest, filling the empty space with warmth and clarity. And as the glow begins to settle, just noticing how it strengthens what has returned to you. Your energy is no longer scattered. It has been cleansed, freed of weight, and it belongs fully to you. Feel it gather steady and bright at the center of your chest. Just really sitting with that and feeling that. What does it feel like to have all of your energy return to you? And now you can even take a moment to just think about the places where your energy used to leak away. The people, the habits, the places, the loops that drained you. From where you sit, you can now see those cords fading. The light within you is holding strong. What once pulled you no longer has force. So take a breath and feel the ember of this energy just radiating through your entire body, clear and unshakable, knowing that you are charged as if you're plugged directly into the sun. You know, it may be a night sky above you, but within you, the light is always steady. Just staying here for another moment. The ocean's rhythm anchoring you. Knowing that what you carry right now is yours to keep in this state of being grounded, whole, and aligned. Taking one moment to breathe that in. And now slowly beginning to trace your steps back to your body, to your physical body. Perhaps getting up, walking back through the sand, retracing your steps back through the forest, moss underfoot, past the trees, through the door, walking back to your body, through the smoke, through the mist, sitting back down, and then gently starting to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and then finally gently opening your eyes. So remember that this practice is available to you whenever you want. At any point in any day, you're able to call all of your energy back to you. End of the evening, the end of any meditation that you do. It's just very good practice to call all of your energy back to you. So I hope that that was peaceful and, restorative for you. Now is a good time to journal anything that may have came up. And, just really being gentle with yourself, especially as we are just now moving through eclipse season. And taking time to be in nature if you're able, and drinking lots of water, all of the things. So I hope that you have an amazing new moon eclipse and week ahead of you. I will be offering another session here next Sunday. So if this resonated with you, it would be so great to see you again. I would love to hear any feedback and to connect with you on, YouTube, social media, whatever. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.